the sport truck. New Mitsubishi Triton.
Drive at Earth, Mitsubishi Motors.
My head is twirling round among the stars. My eyes can view the earth now from afar. My feet are floating miles above my yard. My hands can touch the clouds, it's not that hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tokyo Skytree. Be awestruck by the panoramic view. There are so many other fun things to do after you've enjoyed the view. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go, let's enjoy. This is Tokyo Skytree.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Mai Demizu.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week, we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from our studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
So let's get started. First up is Executive Insight. So Tsuda-san, what company are we hearing from today?
Yes, this time we'll be speaking to Sumitomo Mitsui Banking's president and CEO, Takeshi Kunibe, about his strategy to expand business in Asia.
Well, I know banks as well as many financial institutions from Japan are expanding operations in the region now.
Yes, that's right. And one reason is the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, which was officially launched at the end of last year. And it's a massive economic zone with a population of 620 million and GDP of $2.5 trillion.
Well, I understand the idea is to liberalize the movements of goods and people and services and to further accelerate the growth of economies within ASEAN.
Exactly. And with its relatively young demographic, the region is seen to have strong potential for continued growth. So, what is Sumitomo Mitsui Banking's strategy? Take a look.
Executive Insight. January 2016, the Singapore Open, a professional golf tournament, returns to the city-state. This event, with a history of more than 50 years, was suspended 3 years earlier due to a loss of sponsorship. The new title sponsor is Japan's Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, also known as SMBC. With the launch of the ASEAN Economic Community, growth in the region is expected to accelerate, and Japanese financial institutions have started to actively pursue M&A and tie-ups with local banks. SMBC is one of Japan's 3 biggest banking groups, operating 441 branches in the country and 17 overseas, with total assets of 156 trillion yen.
中期的には間違いなくアジアというのは大きく成長していくマーケットでありますので、一言で言うと我々の戦略は変えません。
It has invested in commercial banks in countries such as Indonesia and Vietnam and is rapidly strengthening its foothold across Asia. President and CEO Takeshi Kunibe explains the bank's Asian strategy. First, we asked him about the reasons for sponsoring the Singapore Open.
Right now, we're pursuing an Asia-centric strategy. It has several components. Many Japanese companies are expanding into the wider Asian region, and we want to help them. We also want to help the fast-developing economies and companies of Asia grow further. And there's also an idea we call Gateway to Asia. By becoming a bank that's strong in Asia, we believe we can grow our business with European and US companies. Originally, our bank did business with Japan as the base, but Asia is becoming the mother market, and we're planning to expand in the region in a big way. In the course of doing that, we want the people of Asia to better understand what Sumitomo Mitsui Bank is. Also, when I spoke to customers in Singapore, many of them talked about how they hoped for the return of the Singapore Open. It has a long history, and so we decided to become a sponsor. Our decision comes from a desire to solidify the SMBC brand in Asia.
As the market in Japan shrinks, SMBC's Asia-centric strategy has helped the bank grow its high-margin overseas lending business. Gross profit numbers by region show that Asia is making up an increasingly bigger proportion. One of the strengths of SMBC's overseas business is project finance. It involves participating in infrastructure construction projects in emerging markets from the planning stages and providing financing. In Singapore, the bank has advised and helped secure funding for a $1.8 billion urban redevelopment project centered on the National Stadium. SMBC is expanding its presence in Asia. We asked Mr. Kunibe about his vision of creating a global bank.
Our foundation is commercial banking, so we're aiming to do business in Asia as a strong commercial bank. Right now, in Asia, we operate in 39 locations in 14 countries. Last year, we opened branches in Yangon, Myanmar, and Manila in the Philippines. We plan to grow our own network in this way, and also by partnering with leading banks in local markets, or through capital tie-ups in certain cases. At the same time, we want to expand throughout Asia on the back of partnerships with strong local banks and provide comprehensive services to Japanese companies coming into the region, as well as local firms.
At the end of last year, the ASEAN Economic Community officially set sail, creating a massive economic zone with a population of 620 million and GDP of $2.5 trillion. In the region, Japan's Mizuho Bank has a capital and business alliance with Vietnam's largest state-owned commercial bank. The Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi UFJ, meanwhile, owns Bank of Ayutthaya, a major commercial lender in Thailand. And Resona Holdings has teamed up with Public Bank, the second biggest commercial bank in Malaysia. Japanese financial institutions are actively pursuing M&A in ASEAN member countries to tap into the region's growth. We asked about the details of SMBC's own strategy in Asia.
We're pursuing a multi-franchise strategy. Commercial banking and corporate transactions are basically a very big business for us. And in fast-growing countries, we want to grow our entire commercial banking business, including our retail business. Our target countries in that regard are Indonesia and Vietnam. In Indonesia, we have a local subsidiary handling our wholesale business. In addition, we have a 40% stake in a local lender called BTPN, engaged in retail banking. And then there's a car loan company that we announced a while ago we're considering investing in. By combining these, we're planning to offer a full line of commercial banking services in Indonesia.
Indonesia, where SMBC is undertaking a multi-franchise strategy, has a population of 250 million, the biggest among ASEAN members. By 2030, that number is forecast to reach 280 million. The so-called middle class, which will drive consumption, is also expected to increase from 60% of the population to nearly 80% during that time. Yoshihiro Hyakutome, the general manager of the Emerging Markets Business Division, explains how the bank plans to expand its retail business in Indonesia.
BTPN was originally set up as a bank to distribute pensions for military personnel and civil servants. It also extends loans to those pension recipients. And recently, it started offering small business loans to housewives in farming villages, while also teaching them about finance, and has about 2 million customers now. Most wives of farmers in Indonesia haven't received much financial education, so as part of that business, BTPN teaches them about financial discipline, saving methods, and planning for the future financially. We believe that low-income earners and lower-income earners in the middle class will see their salaries continue to grow. So we want to give them access to banking and provide more financial services to this segment. In Indonesia, the public transportation network is still not fully developed, and two-wheelers are an extremely important mode of transport. By also helping to finance purchases of such two-wheelers, we believe we can contribute to the Indonesian economy. The penetration rate of two-wheelers in Indonesia is 30% or more now, but we're forecasting it will continue rising. So in that sense, too, we expect the number of people in Indonesia needing financial services to also grow. As incomes rise, first, the number of people who borrow money to buy motorcycles will increase, and then there will be more demand for savings and other financial services. So we believe SMBC and SMFG can tailor and provide financial know-how to the local Indonesian market.
How does the bank plan to expand its presence in Asia in the future?
Our sponsorship of the Singapore Open this time underscores this. But SMBC and SMFG have companies that possess various functions. For example, credit card companies, leasing companies, and credit and securities firms. So we can provide superb financial products and services as a group. and as more Japanese companies expand into the rest of Asia.
何よりもアジア域内で
They're building up supply chains across the region, so we can be their partners and also expand our business with local firms.
拡大をしていく、そういったことを
By continuing to do so, we believe we can further grow our presence across Asia.
いうふうに思いますね。長期的
From a long-term perspective, Asia will unmistakably continue growing. The stage of development differs by country, so we need to implement strategies accordingly. In simple terms, we believe it's crucial to have a strategy for each country.
As the economic slowdown in China and the global stock rout at the beginning of the year put the brakes on growth in the ASEAN region, SMBC's multi-franchise strategy is being put to the test.
Potenza.
Asia, the world growth driver. Japan, China, ASEAN countries. With more reporters and contributors across the region, Nikkei Asian Review can give you a view of business in Asia from the inside. Nikkei Asian Review, available in print, online, and mobile devices.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
Well, Tsuda-san, what's next?
Yes, I'm sure you've heard about how aged meat is becoming a big trend in Japan right now.
Yes, of course. There are so many more restaurants that they advertise that they serve aged meat. And I've had some couple of times myself.
It's good, isn't it?
Yes, it's really delicious.
And meat aging is a process that's more common in the US and Europe compared to Japan. And it's a method invented to make red meat, which has a higher moisture content, more tender and flavorful.
Well, I know more Japanese people are starting to eat red meat because it's said to be healthier than the marbled meat, right?
Yes, that's true. And this aging trend is also spilling over to sashimi, which we tend to think is something that should be served as fresh as possible.
Well, do you mean to say sashimi is also being aged?
Yes, that apparently is what's happening. And playing a big role are ancient Japanese food culture and traditional preparation techniques. So we have a report on new moves in fish aging. Take a look.
Nihonbashi, Tokyo. There's a Japanese-style pub here that's causing a buzz. It's called Jukusei Gyoba, Fukui-ken Mihamacho. On the menu are 2-week-aged salted yellowtail and other uncommon dishes.
This is the assorted sashimi platter. The fish are all aged for 9 days.
These customers have ordered a platter of sashimi that's been aged for more than a week. They have a bite, albeit a bit apprehensively.
It's completely different. It doesn't taste like the same fish.
Delicious. It lacks a bit of texture, but has a deep taste.
They say compared to fresh sashimi, it has a stickier and more tender texture. As the restaurant's name indicates, the aged fish is shipped direct from Mihama Town, Fukui Prefecture.
This is aged sea bream.
The fish was unloaded at the port in Mihama more than 10 days earlier. But they say by using a unique method, protein is broken down into amino acids, enhancing the umami, or taste, of sashimi. The restaurant's operator, Fun Function, believes aged sashimi will spread nationwide.
There's a perception that sashimi tastes better the fresher it is. But we think we can change that, and we're planning to continue opening new branches.
Mihama, Fukui Prefecture, is a fishing town that faces Wakasa Bay. It's known as the birthplace of mackerel, Heishiko. Heishiko refers to fish soaked and pickled for about a year in rice bran. It's literally aged fish. Its history goes back to the Kamakura period, between the 12th and 14th centuries.
Villagers here all pickled mackerel in rice bran at home.
This is an inn near the port. Visiting the establishment are Mr. Gasho of Fun Function and members of the local fishing cooperative. Surrounding a table laden with extravagant dishes of locally caught seafood, they are holding a strategy meeting. This is aged yellowtail amberjack sashimi.
It's delicious. It's tender and also has a springy texture. The flavor is good too.
The taste probably settles and becomes milder.
It circulates through the entire body. The fat on the stomach goes to the back. Aging fish makes the taste better.
Mr. Gasho believes they need to increase the types of aged fish offered at the restaurant. And on this day, they're trying to see if young yellowtail can be aged. In producing aged fish, they say the most important requirement is completing the preparation while the fish is still fresh.
You have to be sure to remove the blood quickly. It can become the cause of a bad smell.
After removing the innards, the fish is hung inside a refrigerator. They set the temperature and humidity according to traditional methods, and the fish is aged for more than a week. Mr. Gasho plans to open a second pub within the year.
Mihama is a town that has had an aging culture since long ago. It's not just a boom. We want to continue doing this to offer more delicious food and to promote the culture of Mihama.
Meanwhile, in Osaka, an unusual aged ingredient is in the spotlight. Called Kazu, this restaurant offers handmade soba, or buckwheat noodles. It's a small place with about 10 seats. 5.5 years ago, they created something that overturned the conventional idea of soba, aged soba. The shop is said to be well known among soba aficionados.
I would describe the taste as similar to the sweetness of chestnuts spreading through your mouth. It has a distinct sweetness. It's a taste you can't get anywhere else.
Owner Kazunori Nakagawa runs the restaurant by himself. The buckwheat used to make aged soba is ground by hand using a grindstone.
By hand grinding it, the buckwheat is crushed into a complex form, and the range of taste and texture expands.
For every 9 parts of freshly ground buckwheat, he adds 1 part flour and carefully rolls the noodles. The slightly thick-cut soba is put into small containers and put in the refrigerator to be aged for 3 days. He says overturning the conventional idea that soba is best served fresh was something that happened by pure coincidence.
When I was cleaning up the leftovers, there was one that was overly sweet. The soba was so sweet. I actually did tests to find out how many days it would take to get the best taste. And as a result, I realized that here, letting soba sleep for 3 days produced the sweetest taste.
The aged soba that Mr. Nakagawa makes is said to have a sweetness and flavor distinctly different from freshly rolled soba.
I don't know how to describe it. It's just good.
Aging is a trend that's spreading to various other foods. The fusion of tradition and innovation looks set to speed up in the future.
For the world, with the world. 360-degree business innovation. Mitsui & Company.
At SMBC, we're growing with Asia, and we've made a commitment to this community that is giving us so much. Whether financing infrastructure projects or delivering customized services to our many clients, we will continue to serve Asia with speed and efficiency. Rising with Asia, SMBC Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese. Delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next is a segment called Takumi from Science View, a program produced by NHK.
Takumi literally means artisan in Japanese, and it's a word often used to describe craftsmen with exceptional skills.
So who's our Takumi today?
Yes, today we'll be introducing a Takumi of food processing technology. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the term kikakugai, which means vegetables and fruits that are removed from shipments because they don't meet standards for size, quality, or some other aspect.
Well, they can be a bit misshaped or the sizes might not be right.
That's what I'm talking about. And non-standard vegetables and fruits are considered to have a lower value as products, and many are simply thrown out.
But the taste shouldn't be any different, so it's really unfortunate for the producers.
You're right, and so our Takumi this time developed a unique food processing technique that can transform vegetables and fruits destined for the dustbin into products that can be put on the market. And his goal was to help raise the incomes of the farmers, so take a look.
Hi, today I'm at a distribution center for vegetables grown on farms. In Japan, only vegetables that meet the requirements of standard size and shape are sold in supermarkets. Take a look. This is a Japanese leek. It's 80 centimeters. The diameter must be 1 to 1.8 centimeters. The vegetables goes through very strict screening. Those that are not standard size is considered to be worth less in market value and are disposed. Almost 40% of all production is thrown away. For example, this one is too short, so it's thrown away. In 2004, the Kenyan female Nobel Peace Laureate Wangari Maathai spread the mottainai spirit worldwide. Mottainai is a Japanese word meaning to cherish everything and not to waste. Some of you might already be familiar with the word.
Mottainai, you can still eat it.
This is today's Takumi, Masaaki Oya. He transforms vegetables otherwise destined for the garbage into marketable products using his own processing technology. These are imperfect fruits and vegetables that have been collected at Oya's center. These are persimmons that cannot be sold because of their irregular shape. I went straight on inside to see how they would be processed. This is a decompression dryer for food that took Oya 5 years to invent. 5-centimeter pieces of cut and washed persimmon are placed inside. Switch on the machine and just let it run for 15 hours. Whoa! This is impressive! After being dried, they have 12 to 15% moisture content, perfect to bring out the best of the fruit's flavor. Very sweet! And that's no wonder, because when you measure the sugar content of the dried persimmon, oh, 70%! There is 10 times the sugar concentration after it's dried. Oya's innovative decompression drying method removes only the moisture and concentrates the sweetness. But that's not all. Oya came up with the idea of using his dried vegetables and fruits and other products in a powdered form. With this innovative drying method, food that was to be thrown out turns into something of real value. But Oya encountered a major hurdle early in the development phase. Conventional drying machines used hot air. This meant that the temperature would reach 65 to 70 degrees Celsius and break down the vitamins and other nutrients in the food. How could he stop the nutrients being destroyed? After much trial and error, Oya finally came up with the idea of decompressing the inside of the drying machine.
The decompression setting is 980 hectopascals.
Normally, when food dries, moisture evaporates from its surface first. Moisture from the core then moves outwards to evaporate from the surface in a repeated cycle. When pressure on the food is lowered,
The movement of the moisture is stimulated and dehydration is accelerated. In addition, the air inside the drying machine is constantly replaced so that water vapor does not collect inside it. By doing so, Oya's machine is able to dry at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius and avoid destroying food nutrients. This is data comparing the conventional method and Oya's method drying the vegetable mohaya. The difference is obvious. Oya, a mechanical design engineer, set up its own business in 1977. The following year, he started a business growing and selling mushrooms. They were finding a large number of irregular mushrooms. The mushrooms grew so fast that they became oversized. This experience of mottainai or wastefulness led Oya to invent his novel drying technology using decompression. Since then, he has proposed a way to commercialize substandard produce to farmers around Japan. His efforts have led to 60 products. His innovation is gaining attention as a new business model.
Presently, a farm producer's average annual income is said to be only around $16,000. My aim is to make farming more profitable.
Let's enjoy Japan.
Wonderful.
I knew you'd like this.
You know me so well. Where to next?
Golf,
Wonderful.
Japanese garden,
That's wonderful too.
onsen with a Fujisan view.
Wonderful.
Let's go then.
Wonderful.
Incredible. Smiles ahead. Seibu Group.
Unlimited answers to unlimited questions. Materials can change our lives. Toray.
Asia, the world's growth engine. Here, nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity. But how do you find a way in? Now, opportunities in Asia are revealed like never before. From the inside, with real insights from more reporters across the region, only Nikkei Asian Review truly understands Asia.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next is Project Japan. So, Utsuda-san, what's this topic?
Yes, first let me ask you, do you find your office desk gets cluttered often?
Unfortunately, I do. Well, I get scripts, schedules, and all kind of papers from all the programs that I'm in. So, there are things that I just can't throw away on my desk.
I can't agree more.
Right.
That's more or less what my desk looks like. And as the population in Japan shrinks and greys, it's being said that reducing unnecessary work and also increasing individual productivity are critical. And this time we have a report on how to improve work efficiency. So take a look.
The Project Japan. Tachikawa, Tokyo. A company here is dealing with a certain problem. Kotobukiya, a toy maker that sells figurines of popular anime and manga characters. The number of products it handles has continued to grow, and merchandise overflows from the desks of employees.
You're right. I can't stretch my legs. It's the year end, so I've been throwing out papers, but they keep piling up.
She cleaned her desk, but it's still in this condition. He says he's still attached to products that he worked on a few years ago.
This is from 4 or 5 years ago.
The clutter is also cutting off communication among employees.
We're at a limit in terms of storage. The issue is how to fix this situation.
Seeking a solution, they visit a certain company. Major office furniture maker Plus. Using its experience of selling furniture, it offers support to companies struggling to improve the office environment. First, the amount of documents at Kotobukiya is calculated based on the dimensions of the office.
The amount is probably about 2 times the height of Tokyo Tower. We can reduce that by 50%.
The first step is said to be throwing things away. An obvious result. They're at a loss for words. Mr. Nakamura of Kotobukiya says a space where employees can interact will re-energize the office atmosphere.
Our company wants to provide an official place where we can discuss things.
Apparently, there's furniture perfect for that. They're taken to a section of the office.
This is nice.
This is the Gotsubu Cafe, which launched full-scale services this year. It creates a cafe-like space within the office, offering more opportunities for employees to interact. The size can be adjusted depending on available space, with the fixtures provided on lease starting at about 30,000 yen a month. A space of just 5 tsubo, or about 16 square meters, is packed with a range of services. First, a service to regularly deliver seasonal vegetables. There's also a coffee stand and regular deliveries of seasonal flowers. What's more, a monitor displays picture-based content that changes daily to spark conversations. They're all designed to bring new life to the office.
It's relaxing. It helps me change how I feel.
Kotobukiya is planning to relocate in 3 months and has decided to reorganize its office layout. In an online survey of 200 business owners and 300 company employees carried out by Plus, more than 80% replied that small talk had a positive effect on their work. The Plus development team spent about half a year to put this system in place in its own office and is continually improving it.
Whose dog is this?
It's my dog.
When one person is there, more gather, and a conversation naturally ensues.
During the holidays, I saw that movie that's on for only a limited time. I love watching movies too. They're only showing it for 2 weeks.
Employees can now interact beyond the confines of their respective departments.
Smoking rooms are quickly disappearing. Those types of places were actually a space for communication. I think this might be a good replacement.
Based on that data, Plus partnered with a content provider to come up with a service to bring new energy into the office environment.
We felt we had to narrow down the concept and put some boundaries on the behavior of people when they come here. To get them to see this and think, or to laugh. We believe developing content within set guidelines will give rise to different ideas. The box lunch service shouldn't just be about getting to your desk in the morning, looking at the menu and placing an order. If you go to Gotsubo, there's an aroma, something new. Then it'll create excitement and people will get together. That's what I want to draw out more from this.
They say the key to their business is not simply selling furniture as they did in the past, but adding services and providing experiences to customers.
It's not about what to sell, but about how to renovate the office environment. You can't do that unless you change the mindset of the people who work there. Changing people's mindset requires communication. How should managers and employees communicate? To create horizontal and vertical connections, you first have to provide an environment.
One company has renewed itself by installing custom-made office furniture. This is an entrepreneurial venture set up a year ago that developed smartphone games. Reflecting the drastically changing nature of its business, the company put in angular tables. The diamond-shaped desks can be arranged to seat groups of people depending on the situation.
It's effective in allowing us to alter communication day to day, based on the people required.
These are based on tiles devised by physicist Roger Penrose. By combining just two types of diamond shapes, they can create a table that seats 1 to 55 people. This unique office furniture wasn't developed by a furniture maker. Kamito Pen Architecture Design Office is comprised of young architects. They say a growing number of companies are interested in designing their offices together with the furniture inside.
The demand will keep growing. I hear this from other offices as well. Many business owners say the structure of their teams changes from day to day.
Offices are dealing with the accelerating pace of change. In the pursuit of efficiency, the trend is shifting from conventional furniture to adaptable furniture.
More company presidents are aware of issues in their offices.
The need to transform the office environment isn't limited to the private sector. This is an office overseeing the administration of the national government and spearheading reforms. Even so, it's in quite a state. But on another floor, the situation is a bit different. This is a department in charge of digitalizing documents. Being in such a position, they decided to become the model of office reorganization. Akihiro Kato is a member of the project team. Since a year ago, he's been devising a plan to cut the so-called bureaucratic red tape.
Government offices are looking for ways to break with convention and create a new type of workspace.
They've been working with an office furniture maker and introduced uniquely curved desks. Instead of individual desks, one team surrounds one table.
It's designed so that your eyes don't meet. So when you look up, you're not directly facing the person there. So you can concentrate without feeling uncomfortable.
They say meetings also go more smoothly than before.
We don't need 2 for reduction negotiations. No need for 2, I understand. We might need to fix that.
In a survey taken 1 year after the renovation, 70% said it's become easier to do their work. There's also been an 80% reduction in the amount of documents printed out for each meeting.
As the population shrinks, increasing productivity is an issue for Japan. The entire government has to take the lead in changing the way this country works.
The table was jointly developed with furniture maker Uchida Yoko. The company has started to mass produce it for businesses as well.
As you can see, the table has various shapes. Until now, square tables were common. By changing the shape, communication is enhanced.
Just by changing the shape of desks, the entire company is re-energized. That possibility has drawn interest from companies and government offices, and they say inquiries are flooding in. They also developed furniture with casters so that they can be moved around more casually. Many offices that tended to focus on improving individual efficiency are now re-emphasizing the importance of group work.
During a day's work, a person spends only about 6% of the time concentrating alone. By being able to have discussions right then and there to solve problems, you can reduce the number of grand meetings and raise productivity. That's how this furniture is designed.
Both the public and private sectors are starting to reorganize the office environment. It may be the key to unlocking new energy.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next time.